Welcome, everybody. I guess we could say we're officially in summer.
Yes, we are.
We've had the big summer holiday with July 4th. Ben gave you the wave. I hope you can give the whole five-fingered wave after fireworks this past weekend. You know, I hope you all kept your fingers and thumbs and everybody was safe. That's always a good thing.
Oh, no. That didn't work. I showed the thumb. It's this. The camera is out there, not here.
We're what, episode 202? Maybe by 300. Ben will get what podcasting and
I've got
live stream video is all about.
I've got summer brain. At my workout this morning at Universal, somebody said, now that July 4th is over, summer's almost over. And a teacher who was in the room, who obviously enjoys their summer, they're like,
groaned?
You shut your mouth.
Yeah, they're probably just winding down.
Yeah, right.
Because it's not like, your kid gets to go home and I don't know, do they still throw the paper around on the school bus and celebrate it's over?
Oh, I don't know.
But, I know that's what I did.
The kids don't have paper anymore. Right. They just throw their iPad. Right.
They throw their Chromebook around. They don't. Boy, what a thing they're missing. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I never rode the bus. I was a walker. We lived close enough to each elementary, middle, and high school that I just walked.
Wait a minute. You never rode a school bus?
Well, no. I've ridden a school bus before.
For daily school.
No, not for daily school. Nope. Walk. We were that close. We lived in the neighborhood.
Chime in, Lancaster. Can you have a real school? After knowing this man for 20 plus years, this might explain a lot.
There's walkers. There's bus riders. There's walkers.
Yeah.
There's bike riders.
Listen. Chime in the comments, either live or later. There's a whole element to the school experience of riding the bus.
I get it. I rode the bus
and you
with band. With band, but
everybody gets to do that. There's always funness in the experience of the bus going to the event.
Yeah. That's true. You're talking about the morning.
There's a different context of the school experience when bus is part of the day.
No, was never part of the morning.
This explains some things, folks. This explains some things. Funness, as in you see, this is what happens when you ride the bus to and from school. You learn words. You get learned, and you learn new words.
I had to walk uphill both ways in the snow.
No, that's the way Boyertown's constructed. There's different geography out there.
It's an interesting place. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, teachers have a little wind down. Kids throwing paper, they throw laptops. Yeah. Oh, they are missing out.
Yeah,
they are missing out on that experience. 100%. Well, what'd you do? Throw your paper in the neighbor's lawn?
I must have.
Like a miscreant. Is that what you did?
Good boy. Or you kept my papers in my backpack.
I
had a trapper keeper that.
I bet you. I was just going to say. I bet your Mama McClure has all those papers still.
She might. She's been slowly giving me boxes of stuff, but yes, they might exist.
Little Benny's projects.
That would be fun to go through a box of.
Yeah. When I grow up, I want to be. Wouldn't it be something if you wrote like that in there?
Want to have a mattress store?
That'd be funny.
I want to provide people with excellent sleep.
That's the other thing, though. Where is the joy in looking in your Google Docs?
Right.
For memories of childhood.
That's true. That's true. These kids are not going to have a box of stuff.
There's no joy in that.
Maybe some artwork. The kids bring home some artwork.
Well, yeah, but
you're not
just the everyday stuff, man. It's just gone. We gotta figure this one out. Anyhow,
let's figure out great sleep first.
It's July 7th. Yes, it's July. Yeah, no. So let somebody else figure out that world problem. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. So it's July 7th. We got a great show with Troy Steffy from the Lancaster Stormers. Don't say Barnstormers. Lancaster Stormers. We got a whole rebrand, and that's been exciting for this season. And so. I think without too much further ado,
should we introduce our guest?
Why don't you introduce the guest?
Yeah.
We're going to make a formal introduction, and then we'll welcome Troy onto the show.
Yeah. So our guest today is someone who truly lives and breathes baseball. I like to think that's me, but I just love baseball. I don't live and breathe baseball, although I did with coaching recently. That was like a full-time job. Anyway, Our guest is doing it right here in Lancaster County. Troy Steffy is the bench coach and director of baseball operations for the Lancaster Stormers, as Jeff said. Troy is a Lancaster native with deep roots in the game and has served as a scout for 3 major league organizations. I'm wondering who those are. Better be the Phillies, the Phillies, and the Phillies. He's worked with USA Baseball and even represented players as an agent, so kind of a wide-ranging baseball experience and background. He holds certifications in sports biomechanics and has trained athletes at the collegiate and professional levels. So we're excited to talk to Troy today about his incredible journey with baseball and what's ahead for the Stormers in 2025. Troy, welcome to Lancaster Connects.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Yeah, doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, just real quick, we're talking about school buses and the chaos. I would refer to it as chaos. And then when you brought up the trapper keeper, I remember a trapper keeper getting thrown to the back of the school bus by a kid. So brought back the memories there.
There you go. There you go.
Well, is there, let's dig right in. I mean, is there your bench coach? Do you have to be bus coach? Is there any like juicy stuff you can share about bus trips with the team?
I'll be honest with you. We get on the bus and everybody pretty much passes out. I'm the only guy that's awake. I could not.
No, okay, I can see
that. We just traveled. We had a game in High Point. We left last Thursday, I believe it was. And we drove to, it was a couple weeks ago. We left on a Thursday night at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. And we got down there at 6:30 in the morning as the hotel was setting out breakfast. So I did not sleep that whole trip. But, I'll be honest with you, you get on the bus, everybody kind of puts their headphones in and, they're out for the trip until we get there.
Yeah. That's an interesting dynamic, and I realize it's maybe not part of our question thread, but now that we're on this trip thing, you're right. Everybody puts in their headphones and kind of gets in their own world and takes a nap, right? But I recall seeing pictures from like major leaguers and ball players from years ago where they would be like playing cards on the plane or the bus. Or does that sort of interaction happen now?
Yeah, every once in a while I'll hear a card game break out in the back, but pretty much it's, everybody's just kind of to themselves and watching Netflix on their iPad or, listening to music or whatever, even trying to catch a nap. But yeah, back in the day, they'd be playing cards and reading the newspaper and everything like that.
That's interesting. Yeah. Bringing back the old and the new. Yeah, that's cool. Like it.
I'm happy you're comfortable with going off the question.
I am.
That's what I was like.
Right turn.
I'm like, whoa, watch out now. We're living on the edges.
We are.
Love it.
We are.
So Troy, you're a Lancaster native, and how's it feel to be working with the hometown team again?
Incredible. It was. I was born in Oklahoma, and then we moved here. So I consider this home. Left here for a little bit, moved to Florida, was working with the Astros down there, and then moved back. My wife and I decided we were going to move here. I ask her every winter why we live here because I can't take the cold anymore. But, I was working at Spooky Nook and met Mike Reynolds, and Mike is an incredible person, and I was like, this is the guy that I want to work with, and accepted the position. And it's been, it's a job, but I'll be honest with you, I don't even look at it as a job. I enjoy coming to work every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you brought up Mike Reynolds. We've had Mike on the show a number of times talking about the Stormers, talking about all the fantastic things you do at the, Penn Medicine Park now?
Yes, sir.
I know it's no longer Clipper, so Penn Medicine Park. Mike is fantastic. We've known Mike for a long, long time. Yep. And the things that you guys have done as a ball club, not only the success of the team on the field, but again, your presence in the community, everything you do at the field, and the Stormers getting out in the community is really, really awesome. So how long have you been with the Stormers?
In 18, Ross had taken over as the manager. I was working over at Spooky Nook, and Ross said to me, hey, would you volunteer just helping me out during game days? And I said, yeah, all right. So I did that for 18. And then in 19, then I was offered a position here and been here ever since. During COVID, the season was put on hold. So I was laid off there and then came back, once the 21 season was ready to go.
So awesome. Thank you for sharing. Your experience, we talked about, or we mentioned in our introduction, you've been a scout for Major League Baseball. Can you share the 3 teams?
Yeah, I was with the Astros. I was with the Devil Rays, who are now the Rays. And
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
With the Toronto Blue Jays. So the Toronto Blue Jays, I was there for 2 years, and I had to follow Cam Gallagher and Derek Fisher. They wanted complete reports on them, and it was funny because I was actually training Cam, getting him ready for the draft, and so I kind of had an insight of what they were looking for, and it was a good thing. Cam's a great baseball player, and no way did I help him, get drafted as drafted in the second round. But it was cool to be a part of that experience and being able to scout him and Derek Fisher.
That's really, really cool. Did you, as working as a scout for teams, I mean, your job is to find talent that's out there, right?
Yeah.
Did you discover anybody that we might know as a...
No, nobody that...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, minor league guys. I've had a couple guys that have gone, to the minor leagues, but no big league guys or anything like that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So as a scout, this is a question for the audience, but also I'll ask it for my family. Now, my son is a football player, not a baseball player. But as a scout, what are those things outside of the sport itself, right? Those tangible and intangible things that a scout, an organization looks for in young talent to invite into their organization?
Question.
Well, that is a great question, because back, in, I guess, 85 or something like that, they didn't really, when I was coming around, they really didn't care a whole lot about your character. Being, that times have changed. It's really about who you are as a person, who mom and dad are also. They kind of really look into, what type of family life is like. Is it chaotic, or is it, a supportive family? Is this guy going to be able to, call on his family and have that support and that motivation to continue when things go, south or something like that? When I was training to be a scout, I had this guy, Russ Bouvet. I'll never forget. I was in Florida, and I said to him, what's the science of scouting? And he goes, there is none. He goes, you're wrong more than you are right. And I'm like, what? And he said, you're wrong more than you are right. And I'm like, okay, well, let's figure this out. So he told me that what he does is he goes to the ballpark, and if he finds the prettiest girl there and that player is dating her, that's the guy he wants on his team. And I go, what? And he goes, because he has the confidence to ask out the prettiest girl in school, that's the guy that he wants on his team. And
Interesting.
I'm like, all right, whatever.
But can he swing a bat?
Exactly, But, I was in Florida. It was funny. I was at the World Wood Bat Championships, and I was scouting. And I'm new to all this, so I don't know a whole lot. So we had this guy on the mound, and there are scouts everywhere. And he's throwing a heck of a game. And all of a sudden, you see this girl walk down with a hot dog and a soda, and she walks up to the fence. And after the inning's over, he comes over, the pitcher comes over, grabs the hot dog and the drink, and takes it into the dugout. And all of a sudden, everybody starts packing. All the scouts are packing up all their stuff. And I'm going, what are we doing? Again, I'm new. I don't know what's going on. And I go, hey, what's going on? And one scout says, we're not interested. We're going to pass on him. And I said, well, why? And he said, if he doesn't have the discipline to fuel himself before the game, we're not interested.
Wow.
So, a lot of those things are, like I said, they want the best version of that person that they can. They're looking at you from the time you get out of your car until you get in your car to go home at the end of the night.
So you touched on it, and is it okay if we weave well off of the question thread?
I love it.
So a little bit of background, Troy. I was MIA on the show for much of the first half of this year. My wife had a really rough health journey. She's doing great.
She better?
She's doing great.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
She's doing great. So I'm back. So Ben had a lot of guardrails of question threads, and I'm just here left, right. Anyway, so you brought up supportive family, a network to lean on. Let's touch on that family thing, right? Because unfortunately, we hear these things. I just heard something terrible in my school district that involved a parent. And so what would you say to parents that aren't so supportive, but are more thinking they're supportive and being overbearing on their athlete's life and overbearing on coaches? So what would you say to that?
So what I tried to do with my daughters is I tried to be there and be supportive, but I tried to stay in the shadows as well, if that makes sense. My wife and I are we're proud of our kids, we're supportive of our kids, but at the same time, we're realistic. My daughter, my oldest daughter, was a basketball player, and she played when she was in fifth grade basketball, she played the 1 minute per quarter, I think it was, that was mandated by the league. She didn't deserve to play more. And it hurts to say that because it's my kid, but in reality, she wasn't that good yet. She went on to have an outstanding high school career. She made the Pennsylvania Maryland All-Star basketball game, or the team for that. But for parents, and I know it's hard, but to sit back and just be realistic in the sense of, hey, this is where my kid is now, but it doesn't define them. It doesn't define my daughter in fifth grade of where she's going to be as a basketball player. It defines her when she hangs up her basketball shoes and says, I am no longer going to play basketball. Then I can say, or she can say, hey, I was a good basketball player. I was a great basketball player. Or, hey, listen, I just wasn't any good at basketball. But a lot of times as parents, I see a lot of it is parents are living through their children and want the best for them. And I get it. I don't think it's they just want the best for their kid, and they want him to be the best on the team or whatever it is. And I think a lot of it is, just stepping back and letting them play and letting them grow and get better on their own, but be in the background and support them along the way.
That's great advice. Advice. A lot of times parents can ruin, or, the other way around, the player experience.
Sure,
no
absolutely.
question.
I've seen it at the professional level as well, too.
Yep.
Yeah. So even at the pro level, like you said about that, the guy that took the hot dog and soda from his girlfriend, interest or whatever.
Yeah.
The parents can ruin it even up at that level too.
Yep. They think they're being helpful, but and again, I'm not saying they're not, but sometimes it goes too far and it really kind of hinders the kid's development because it's somebody else's fault, or the coach isn't playing the best players and everything like that. And I'm not saying there isn't some politics or whatever you want to say, but at the same time too, really take a look at where is my son or daughter right now as an athlete. Are they getting the instruction that they need, or the attention they need, or whatever it may be, to help them reach their dreams.
Yeah, that's great insight, Troy. Love it. You were. I'm going to get back on track here.
Yeah.
You were.
You were doing great. You didn't have to explain.
I know.
You didn't have to explain the mechanics of podcasting. You were just driving it right back down center lane.
I know. Troy, you wear a few different hats at the Stormers. You're the director of baseball operations and also bench coach, which we were talking a little bit about pre-show. Can you talk a little bit about your responsibilities there? What
Yeah.
each role entails?
Yeah. So basically, I'm our manager's right hand man. We always joke, that I'm his right hand man. So basically, helping him, with whatever he needs. I am in charge of like helping to get players. I'm in contact with Major League Baseball organizations or agents, or we're looking on transactions to see, might have been released, and then trying to get them here. The biggest hurdle that I have, or I should say we have, is we see a player released, and then we have to try to figure out what his phone number is or who his agent is and everything like that. So most of the time it's like, okay, well, he played with the Nationals. I might know somebody with the Nationals organization, and, we'll reach out to them and say, hey, listen, can we get, Jimmy Smith's phone number so we can contact him? Or our manager, he has a real strong ties with the Giants. The Giants will release somebody, he'll release out or reach out to them. So it's we don't have a minor league system, so we can't pull guys up. So we're constantly looking at transactions. We're constantly looking at, who might be out there that we can get in here to help us, fill some holes, or even build the team.
It's interesting to me with you relaying that about contacting players for trades or released and roster changes. In the age of social media, do players not maintain consistent social media presence where you could connect them through LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook?
So I look at Instagram, or I'm sorry, I look at Twitter and LinkedIn. I get a lot of stuff through LinkedIn, but most of it is off the American Association, which is another independent league, the Frontier League. Their transactions, the American Association's transactions, and even the minor league baseball's transactions, to try to figure out, who's out there, and what we might be able to find.
Yeah. So again, our show, we always try to do things, for the community. Obviously, what the Stormers, the Barnstormers have done for 20 plus years now, called the Stormers, focal point of the community. Would you recommend as a young athlete, build your social presence, build your network on there? So this way, when you can be additive to an organization, maybe it's not playing. Like we'll get there in our question thread. There's a million ways to make a career in a sport, right? And you've been doing that for a long time now. But would that be additive for a kid to get active on social media and on platforms and make connections?
Yeah. What I, and this is me personally. I see a lot of videos. I used to be a college recruiter at one time, and I used to see the video to the VHS tapes come in next to the Trapper Keeper. That's how old it is. But, but all I would see is highlight videos, and me personally, I don't want to see all that. What I want to see is I want to see you fail, and I want to see how you recover from that failure. I want to see you give up a home run, and then the next batter, I want to see you bear down and, get him ground out or strike him out or whatever. I see these videos of guys in the cages, and they're all, and you can see they're edited. They're all barreling, and I want to see you ground a ball into the ground, and then I want to see you make the adjustment and hit it backside center, or whatever. That's what I want to see, and I guess that's maybe a little old school, but that's what I want to see. The thing that is with social media that is, I guess, a little dangerous in that sense is, you post stuff up there, and then your buddy puts some kind of a meme up that, maybe isn't socially acceptable, and you like it. And now all of a sudden I see that you like this. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking, okay, this kid isn't who we want in our program. But and he might not have meant any harm by it, anything like that. But again, perception is reality. And that's where, if they're going to use it strictly for, hey, I'm going to use it for, my plays and my athletic career and everything like that, then, I think it's good. I think social media in that sense, where, college coaches can go online and see, and even us, we can log on and see, hey, he's doing this, and this, and he just threw a bullpen. And, I want to see the bullpen rather than just see the highlights. That I think is, it's a good thing.
Yeah. I love that feedback, because sports in general, and especially baseball, it's a game of failure.
Yep.
Right? You're not going to barrel every ball. You're not going to throw every pitch as a strike and strike every batter out. You got to see everything, the good, the bad.
What's my line correlating baseball and success? That oftentimes you're getting out.
7 out of 10 times.
If you're out 7 out of 10 times, you still can be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. But if you go to work, or a kid goes to school and successful 3 out of 10 times on a test, you don't have that job, or you didn't pass that test. And that's one thing, me as a player, I couldn't accept failure. I always had to go 4 for 4, and I couldn't accept, failing. And that's one thing that I'm trying to, even at a young age, when we do these camps and clinics, I'm going, hey, listen, baseball is a game of failure. You're going to have to learn how to accept failing. And I get it. Our guys here, I don't want them to fail. I want them to be successful in everything that they do. But in reality, it's not going to happen. And the difference between the professional level and the minor league level is the guy that can, hey, so what? Who cares about that at bat? I got the next one, and this one here, I'm going to be successful on.
Love it.
It's that mindset.
Yeah.
Love it. So the 2025 Stormer season is underway. I think you're probably almost halfway at the midway point here. What are you excited about so far, and what do you see, going forward for the rest of the season?
Well, we just finished, like you said, yesterday was the last game of the first half.
Okay, it was great.
Yeah, we have a good team. I know our season. I was just talking to someone about this the other day, and I said it's kind of a roller coaster. We do real well, and then we seem to go on the skids for a little bit and things like that. But I'm very excited with the second half starting here. I think it gives us, obviously a new line. We're notorious for winning the second half. I was at the grocery store this winter. I had my winter jacket, Barnstormer winter jacket on, and this older woman said to me, she goes, "Why don't you guys try to win the first half?" And I thought it was kind of because we're out there
giving it to you in the grocery store.
Half, but we definitely we're always looking to how we can improve ourselves. We're always looking, do we have some holes that we need to fill? I know we had the first half. We had a little bit of injuries. We're coming off those injuries here, starting the second half, and we're pretty excited about the traditional how we play in the second half. And again, this team that we have, not only are they incredible players, but clubhouse guys, they're unbelievable. Just a great group of guys. When we won it in 22. And 23, I've always read about culture. I have always heard about culture, but I actually saw culture, the winning culture in 22. The guys got along. They all had each other's backs, and that's kind of the same feeling that we get here now. Is the same guys that they're going to be pulling for each other. They if I'm not starting that day, I know that the guy that's going in for me is going to do the job just as well as as I could or whatever. So they're all pulling for each other. They all support each other, and like I said, it's really cool to see how they all interact and get along.
That's great.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about the players who are on the team. Maybe not specific players, but a lot of these guys they don't call Lancaster home, or they only call Lancaster home from March through September, right? They live with host families. some of these guys have been part of Major League Baseball organizations, maybe made it to a certain level. Maybe they made it to the majors, and now they're playing independent ball. But some could be not even affiliated with baseball and may have made the team from a tryout. Maybe you could talk a little bit about different players' journeys to get to the team, how they make themselves part of a community, and a little bit more about like becoming teammates, from all these different walks of baseball.
The one thing that we have in their contract is that they do 2 appearances, out in the community to give back. And I'll be honest with you, that we have no one complain about that. We got guys signing up and they want to go out in the community. They want to be, give back and be supportive of, the people that are there cheering them on, every night. We had a baseball clinic over at the Boys and Girls Club a couple weeks ago, I guess it was, and we took some of the players over there, and not one person, was like, "Oh, dude, I don't want to do this. I got a game tonight." Because it was from 2 to 2 or 2 o'clock to 3:30, and we were cutting it short. We didn't have BP that day because of the giving back to the community and running this clinic, and we had no one complain about that. Hey, it's going to mess up my routine or anything. They all were really into being a part of this.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
And some of these guys are looking to take the next step, maybe beyond Atlantic League, right?
Sure.
I mean, some of these, this might be their last baseball stop, but you've, as a Stormers organization, Lancaster Barnstormers and now Stormers, you've had players make it back to the major leagues, or maybe make it to the major leagues for the first time. Is that right?
We have, yes. We had several guys that have left here and had gone back. Matty Watson, who was a local guy, went to McCaskey High School. He was with the Oakland A's, with the Mets, the Oakland A's, then came back here and then got picked back up by the Oakland A's. So, we have a few guys that have gone on, leaving here and playing, in the big leagues. The other thing too is, guys will have an opportunity to go overseas to, Japan and play or professionally, or Taiwan or whatever it is. So, it's not just back to the major leagues, which they all want to do, but there's other opportunities where these guys can go to Mexico and play, and also, like I said, to Japan and Taiwan. They can play professionally there as well too.
Troy, just as a personal point of interest, were you a part of the organization when Eric Ackerman was pitching for you all?
No, actually, I scouted Eric Ackerman. I was with the Rays when Eric was at Calico, but no, I was not a part of the organization at that time. Great guy.
So I bring that up.
Great guy.
Yeah, I bring that up because Eric and I were teammates for Reamstown A Team Red. Yes, and we went 13-0.
Nice.
And so that's my connection with Eric.
That's awesome.
He was a year below me at Calico.
Okay.
So that's interesting though that you scouted him. Yeah, he got scouted into Tampa Bay and Kansas City, was it?
He went to Kansas City. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
He's a great guy though. Great guy, Eric is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. So, how do these players develop themselves for Atlantic League baseball? You have player development background, and you're developing these players to play at this level, and again, maybe their interest is to play beyond this level. Can you talk a little bit about the player development aspect of what you bring to the ball club?
From my end here?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we do is we run our youth development programs. We run, which we call our future Stormer, which is 4 years old. And I'm sorry, 4 to 6 year old. And then our 7 to 12-year-old is for our player camps, our skill development camps, our evening camps. And we even have our winter programs. Our winter programs will start in January They'll go 2 times a week for 2 hours, and we cover all aspects of the game. So if I tell an athlete, hey, this is wrong with your swing, that's wrong with your swing, or whatever, it's just going to, blow their mind. They're not going to really know what to focus on. So what we do is we take it in building blocks. And what we'll say is, okay, here's the deal. What I want you to do is just focus on your hands tonight. You're taking the knob of the bat to the ball. Then the next night when we come in and we're working on hitting, all we're worried about is focusing on the lower half, rotating the hips through. So don't even worry about your hands. Then the third night we come in, now we're trying to put it all together. And we have a systematic program that will help develop these athletes. Now, making them better is our main goal. But what trumps that is we're trying to educate them so that they understand what they need to do to be successful, because we're not going to see their games. So what we're trying to do is, okay, do you feel that? Do you feel releasing the ball high? Okay, now when the coach yells, hey, what's the adjustment? We've told them what the adjustment is. They know what the adjustment is. How many times have you guys have heard that, hey, make the adjustment, or even us as coaches, hey, make the adjustment, because I remember it was a 14U game and it was an inside pitch on me and I hit it and I almost hit my third base coach. And, after he gave me the look like, well, dude, you almost killed me. He said to me, he goes, make the adjustment. And I go, okay, coach, I got you. And I'll never forget this. I got in the batter's box and I go, what's the adjustment? I don't know what I did wrong. I didn't know that I was early on the swing. I didn't know my adjustment was to let the ball come closer to me rather than getting it out there early. But there's a lot of times where, I hear that, make the adjustment, and I'll ask kids, I'll say, hey, do you know what it means when they say make the adjustment? And a lot of times they'll go, no, I don't. And it's not their fault. It's just now that you just released that ball high. You just threw it over his head. And I said to you, make the adjustment. Now you know the adjustment is to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. So that's our main goal is to help them get better. But what trumps that is giving them the tools that they understand what they need to do to become better. Not just, athletes, but then we also put little challenges in there for them, and say, okay, listen, we want you to go to school tomorrow and I want you to introduce yourself to 5 people that you never met before. So we're not only trying to help them become better baseball players, we're helping them hopefully to become better people as well.
I love that you said that.
If it wasn't being taught at home, hopefully we're planting that seed. But if it is being taught at home, hopefully we're just, reinforcing that.
Yep. Yeah, I love that you said that because, if I were a high school coach, probably at this level, at least at this level, maybe younger even, the thing that we fought in our home, our standard was our boys got their homework in on time. No, none of this whenever you feel like it. None of this whenever, as long as the teacher's grade book doesn't close. You don't get to retake the test. You study for the test and you take the test and you live with the result based on the effort you put in. Right? If I were a high school coach today of any sport, that would be my standard. My players, my athletes, I don't care what your teacher says. If you're on my field, that's my standard.
Yep.
Because to me, that standard translates to what you put into practice. All of those 3 building blocks you laid out for batting practice.
Yep.
When I coached football, we did like fun things like duck walk and picking up little wiffle balls. There was all these things. And a lot of parents didn't understand. And I'm like, well, you do realize good blocking doesn't just happen. I know it looks like 10 boys just falling into each other. And then the running back gets like to run down the field. Right. I know you might be thinking
I got used to all the time.
Right. Like it doesn't just happen. There's a lot to it. And how we approach it with our mind and with our focus and with our intensity and our commitment matters.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I love that you said about we want them to go introduce themselves to 5 kids. Because what's that? Well, that's confidence.
Yeah.
That's being a teammate, right? That confidence in the halls or on the school bus, like this guy didn't get. You had to say hi to 5 neighbors.
Yeah, that's true. Knock on their doors at 6:30, walking by.
Yeah. Hi, how you been? But no, that confidence translates to getting to know the rest of the team, right? Love that you said that.
And at some point too, our definition of success here, we talk about this at our camps too, is our definition of success isn't, hey, I made it to the major leagues, or hey, look at the car I'm driving, or where I live, or what the amount says in my bank account. Our definition of success is when someone says your name, how do they react to it? Hey, do you know Chris? Yeah, I know Chris. He's an awesome dude. That's success in our opinion. If they say, hey, do you know Troy? Yeah, I know Troy. I know Troy. That's not a successful person. The success that we want these guys to do is, or we want, to help support is, that they're great human beings. They put others first, and they're always out looking to help somebody. With our camps here that we have a big range of age group there for our player camp and also for our skills camps and even our development camps. And I'll say to the older guys, I'll say, listen, your job is to help these younger guys through the camp, to help them, to be there and help teach them, what you've learned over your times here at the camps. And we have a lot of guys that, step up, and we're not only just trying to make them good people, we're trying to turn them into leaders as well, too, and help them be leaders, not only, in the classroom or out, outside the lines, but on the field as well, too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you have any camps for mid 40-year-old
guys
men wanting to get back?
Time.
All right. Awesome. So you briefly touched on the Stormers in the community, their requirement to go out. I'm sure guys do it more than just the required time.
They do.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the ways that the Stormers get out into the community? And then maybe you can also touch on how the community in turn supports the team. Obviously, they go to games, but there's host families involved, and I'm sure car rides and all kinds of ways that the community gives back. So maybe you could talk both angles there.
I'll be honest with you. Listen, let me just touch on our host families. Our host families are unbelievable. I absolutely, every single one of them is not only for just opening their home to these players, but they're great people. Every single one of our host family is an incredible person in the sense that, one, they open up their house, but then two, they're, like I said, they're just great people. They want, to help these guys, take a little bit of stress off, because these guys are away from the home or sometimes they're away from, family or their wives or whatever it is. And they're there to support them and make their life a little bit easier, while we're playing. We got one day off a week. And these guys are really, like I said, grinding, and these host families are, supporting them and helping them, along the way here and being a part of it. The thing that's really cool too is seeing our host families years after our players have left and are no longer playing, and now all of a sudden they're invited to their wedding, and all of a sudden they're invited to, Jimmy's fifth grade graduation or whatever. But it's really cool to see that connection, because, again, we say this over and over, baseball is going to be over at some point in your life. The type of person that you are after that is probably the most important thing. And like I said, our host families are incredible. What we'll do too is, as far as the community goes, we'll hear about an organization that, may need some fundraising or something like that. And we might be able to help out in supporting that, having our players there. There was a golf tournament at Bent Creek. We sent some players over, and it was just kind of an extra added feature for them, to have a couple of our players there. The other thing that we do for that part of my job is in the off season is we built what we consider partnership leagues. Our teams or leagues, I should say organizations, not leagues, but organizations are a part of our partnership league. And basically what that is to be a part of our partnership league costs nothing. But I'm here to help you guys in whatever way that you may need. So, hey, listen, we had one organization said, hey, listen, our baseball fields are underwater all the time and we can't get games in. We're losing them. Can you come out and take a look at these? I built some baseball complexes, years ago. And so I gone no cost, gone to the organization and looked at the fields and said, hey, I'd recommend this, this, and this. We do a lot with coaches clinics, I take my hat off to the volunteer coach. I understand that I get paid to do this and I'm very blessed. But at the same time, too, these kids are counting on us to give them the right information. And what we'll do is we'll go out in these coaches in the communities for the leagues, and we'll do these coaches clinics free of charge. Whatever they may need, we're here to support that. And what they've been doing in turn is they've been coming out and having a Manheim Township baseball day at the stadium. They've been doing some. They're just always there supporting us, and we are so grateful and thankful for everything that everybody has done for us.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's really cool how you have the coaches' days. Because I've been a volunteer coach. You're presently a volunteer coach. I did it. You've done it because you want to do it and you love it.
Yep.
There's things that make it great. There's things that make it not so great. But to know that you've got a great support like the Stormers is awesome locally. So if you're a baseball organization and not taking advantage of that, maybe reach out to the Stormers as a result of hearing it on the show and see how that can interface and happen for your program. Because it's really kind of like a coach the coacher, right? It's train the trainer, right? And when we have coaches that are getting great pro level input and feedback, that just makes it a great experience for the kids.
100%.
And, do that long enough, Lancaster County becomes a baseball powerhouse.
There you go.
Right?
The thing that's interesting is, back when I was a player, yes, Jesus was on the earth. I get it. Okay. But when I remember me hitting, this is how I used to hit. And I had a scout elbow up. He go, what are you doing? And I'm going, I'm hitting. And he goes, try to swing that bat with your elbow up. Well, I can't. I got to drop it. So he goes, start with your elbows down. Boom, 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 boom. I'm hitting line drive after line drive. And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. So I go home that night to the guy that wants the best for me in my life, my dad, who was also my hitting coach. And I go, why are you teaching me how to hit with my elbow up? How many times you guys heard that? Get the elbow up, get the elbow up.
Man.
And he looked at me and he goes, go ask your grandfather because he's the guy that taught me how to hit. So, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. We're just doing what we were taught, along the line here. And a lot of times, with sports science, and we're seeing, hey, maybe this isn't the best thing to be doing. But it's not, I always say to these coaches, or not the coaches, but the kids and the coaches, I say, listen, it's not your fault. Nobody has ever, you're just repeating what you heard, okay, from your coach and maybe what you heard from your Grammy and Grampy and your mom and dad and everything like that. It's not their fault. So I don't want some kid going home and going, Dad, you don't know what you're doing. Like I did. Dad, you know what you're doing. You're teaching me the wrong way. And for him, to really think about it, that, we can't blame, the volunteer assistants or even the some high school coaches or whatever, travel ball coaches, they're just doing what they, were taught. And a lot of times they're finding out that it may not be the best thing. But again, we can't push the blame on them because they're just doing what they were taught.
Yeah.
So
I love the alignment that you create by offering that, because Yeah, I mean, again, every one of those volunteer coaches does want to do the best, and if they're in it for the right reasons, they should love the opportunity to connect with you and your team and what the Stormers have to offer that way. So, again, if you're listening, please do reach out to the Stormers. I'm sure there's something on the site where you can find out and connect there.
I'll give you one more prime example of
Yeah.
just the whole coaching aspect of it. Your cutoff for the age is May 1st. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, May 1st. Yep. For baseball. Yep.
Yep. So I'm not taking anything away. I learned this after my scouting days, and I wish I would have known this a little bit earlier, but I learned this, and then I really kind of thought about it. And my daughter, the basketball player, was also a softball player. Her birthday is May 6th. Okay. And she was always taller than the other girls. She was always faster than the other girls. She was a better player than the other girls. And I'm not taking anything away from my daughter's athletic ability. I went back and looked at the roster, the age group. She was almost a full year older than a lot of the girls on her team because of that cutoff from May 1st, and May 6th was her birthday. And again, my daughter she was all section, for softball and for basketball. But again, I'm not taking anything away from my daughter. Summer, I'm sorry if you think I am. But what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of times where we write a player off because we think, oh, he's too small or he's not, whatever. And his birthday may be, April 29, but he still qualifies for that. So that's some of the other things that we point out to the parents and just kind of give some coaching cues. What's the first thing an athlete does when they make an error? They look at their coach and then they look at the parent. And one time this came to fruition with me. I saw this woman, and she didn't mean anything by it. She was just frustrated for her daughter. Ground ball went between her legs. It was a softball game. She looked at the coach. I was watching the athlete, looked at the coach, and she looked at the parent, and the parent had gotten out of frustration, not at her daughter, for her daughter, and knocked the chair over. And the athlete saw that.
Right.
So, but what is the athlete thinking? The athlete thinking mom's mad, and the coach just went, oh, and now she's thinking, okay, well, mom's mad, the coach is mad. I don't want to go in there in the dugout. Just keep me out here. I'll play all-time shortstop now. But, that's all things that we kind of teach these coaches, watch what we're doing. And baseball is an emotional game, but, we have to be there to support the athlete and really kind of let them know that, and that was something that I needed to do. Now, as you see a ground ball here, really no one reacts, or I don't react, because I know that athlete didn't want to make that error. Yeah. I knew that athlete didn't want to give up that home run, but it happened. We just have to move on from there.
Yeah. Yeah. The mental game is as important as the physical game.
It's huge. Yep. Especially at this level, the mental game is huge.
Yep.
Yeah. Would that be the one piece of advice to these young athletes as they're looking to come up, play baseball, or really any sport? As they want to develop their career, advance their career, whether it's playing the sport or being a part of the sport, what would be those couple key things you'd want to pass on to them?
Probably the first thing I would say is, okay, sit down with yourself, have an honest conversation with a coach or your parent or even yourself or another peer, and say, what am I good at and what do I need to work on? Because what you want to do is really kind of focus on that development part to make whatever your weakness is, make it a strength or make it somewhat close to a strength. To come into, and this is what we teach our camps too, to go in and take batting practice inside a cage and just sit there and hit cage bombs constantly is not doing anything for your development. Really focusing on, okay, where is my weakness? Okay, well, for the weakness for me as a player, I could hit a fastball and a changeup, but don't dare throw me a curveball or a slider. And I'll never forget this. It was I think it was my senior year in high school. One of my buddies was throwing me BP, and he threw me a breaking ball. And I looked at him and I go, "Why are you doing that? You know I can't hit a breaking ball." And I was upset with him, almost to the point where I wanted to fight him because he threw me a breaking ball. But guess what? Come spring training, I still couldn't hit the breaking ball.
Yeah.
But why did I do that? Because all I wanted to do was feel good in the cage.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that was the wrong thing to do. I should have saw curveball and slider all the time, every time I stepped into a cage. But I was so scared of feeling like a failure. But that's probably the biggest thing that I would kind of help have them to really focus on is what are my weaknesses, what I need to work on so I can make it somewhat close to a strength. And then 2 is, like we talked about, earlier, is the mental part of it. If you realize that you're going to fail more times than you succeed in baseball. If you can't accept failure, which was me, don't even play this sport because you're going to fail 7 out of 10 times.
Yep.
But we go to, from the parents out there, you go to work and you fail 3 out of 10 times, or you're successful 3 out of 10 times at your job. You probably don't have that job.
Mm-hmm.
Your kid goes to school, or the kids go to school and they're successful 3 out of 10 times. They didn't pass that test. But in baseball, you're a success.
So you're hitting in the 3, 4, 5 slot.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So you have to understand that we are going to fail, and the difference between the mindset of a minor league player and a major league player is that, hey, so what? I struck out here. I'm going to get a hit the next time. And you strike out again. So what? I'm going to get a hit the next time. I make an error that loses the game. So what? I didn't. I'm gonna get it the next time. That mindset of turning it off and turning it back on is what's going to help you.
Yeah, love it. Love that advice. Thank you, Troy.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate your time. Being a Lancaster guy, you probably have a few things about Lancaster and life that we could pull out from you. Can we ask you 3 great questions that we'd like to call our connection cocktail questions?
Absolutely.
All right. We'll wrap up that way. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Is that all right?
Yes, please.
Okay. I want to make sure we're on the path. You have a favorite book, podcast, TV show that you enjoy right now? Maybe something you watch on the bus? Or read on the bus?
Right now I'm kind of into, I have some Bible studies that I've been doing on an app. Okay. So I've been really kind of focusing on that. But, I got to be honest, my guilty pleasure is Chicago PD. And my manager and we can't wait, for the new versions to come out. And,
nice.
The beginning of the season, we're looking at our watch, we're looking at the inning, we're going, we ain't getting home for PD tonight, or, whatever. Chicago PD and I guess my Bible apps right now, I'm really kind of into those.
Nice. So you're not implying that you're managing the game to get home early to watch Chicago PD. That's not what you're saying.
Well, I mean, listen, he has control of the game. All right. He has control of the game, but I'm like, looking at him thinking, Ross, are we going to get this in? I got home, get a shower and be able to get back in Mount Joy before PD starts. But now it's funny. We've gone to some coaches conventions and things like that. And, we're back at the hotel on a Wednesday night at 10 o'clock, waiting for Chicago PD to come on.
There it is. There it is. There you go. Yeah. So, hey, as a baseball guy, you've traveled probably all over this great country. But if you had a dream vacation anywhere in the world, where are you going?
My wife is going to want to go to the beach, and I'm going to want to go into the woods somewhere. So the beach is where we're going to go. So I think like the Bahamas or, somewhere. Yeah. We did our honeymoon in Jamaica. So I really enjoyed that. So I think probably the beach is where, we'll end up going.
All right. Very good. Very good. And this might be a little hard for you to answer, being that, Penn Medicine Park is the community hub that it is. And there's a lot of businesses that are there, but I'm going to ask you to give the best answer possible.
Okay.
What's your favorite local spot in Lancaster outside the park coffee shop, restaurant, a hidden gem?
That's a good question. Because my life is consumed by, baseball and then coming home at the end. But Clyde Weaver, the meat shop down there, I think is probably my guilty pleasure. Run in there, grab a pound of meat, and beef jerky to hit the road, or something like that. But probably Clyde Weaver.
There you go. Love
Very
it.
good.
Lancaster County destination.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah,
book your vacation around that.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Very good. Troy, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for all your nuggets of wisdom and experience that you've shared. The nice thing about this content is it lives on. So those are great things that you shared for parents to learn from, for coaches to learn from, for the student athletes to learn from. They'll get to see it for quite some time because we'll chop this up, put it out there. It'll be on our channel. We'll obviously get the replay to you and the Stormers to use any way you see fit. But we really appreciate your time with us. It's been a really great conversation. So thank you.
It was an honor. It was all, I'm so honored to be a part of this. And you guys have been great. And, anything I could ever do for you guys, please don't hesitate to ask.
All right. Thank you.
Township Baseball Association will definitely be reaching out. Thanks, Troy.
All right. Awesome. You guys have a great day.
All right.
Yep,
Take care.
Thanks again. All right. Bye.
Yep. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I love seeing the little bits of knowledge he was sharing about kid development.
Yeah.
Because it's so important.
Yeah, it is.
It's so important. I mean, we kind of hinted on it. Parents think their kid is the next greatest, the next, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, whoever, Mike Trout, whatever great baseball name you want to throw out there. And sometimes it's not reality. And
yeah, it's not baseball related, but I'll never forget when I had a parent come out right after a tough loss. And it was such a tough loss because our kids they played the best football they'd ever played, but we just got beat.
Yep.
The team was a better team.
It happens.
And they played great football, but we played great football and we lost by 2 points, which at that league is one conversion after a touchdown. Right. And that's all it was. That's all we missed. And parent says, you just need to do so much more with them on the line. We need to do zone blocking, combo blocking, reach blocking. I'm like, do you see where we're at?
Yeah.
But I just kept back to the basics and we got better and we won the next game and the next game and we finished the season strong.
That's all you can do.
But yeah, it was such a great conversation with Troy. Really, really was. So my sleep better tip kind of goes to coaching and parenting and kids and sports and it's summertime hydration, right? I've been really focusing on my water intake. I got pretty sloppy with it here as of late and replaced that with some Diet Coke or Coke Zero, and I shouldn't have. But I've been more back on the water hydration tip. And I know for you with baseball this summer, that was something.
Oh, yeah.
Hydration doesn't start at 5:30 in the afternoon.
It's especially playing some of those 90+ degree weather games.
Yeah. So my sleep better tip is A, hydration. But B is what I forgot because it relates to the P in the fact that you don't want to be going up all night to go to the bathroom. Don't disrupt your own sleep. Good sleep, sustained sleep's hard enough to get. Hydration helps your body flush those toxins throughout the night because your body does a lot of work while you're sleeping. But it ain't going to do no work if you're done hydrated at 9:00 at night, right? Or half hour before the baseball game. Because then what happens? Right. Kids aren't swinging hard. Kids are getting cramps. And they're saying, what? Coach, I got to go to the bathroom.
That's right. Right.
And it's
right now? You're up next.
You're up. You're on deck. They're on deck doing the potty dance.
I've been there.
So hydrate. That's my sleep better tip for you.
Love it. Sleep better tip, real quick here from Gardner's. Got a handwritten testimonial came in talking about a different liquid than water. We're talking about coffee on this testimonial here. Experience with Gardner's was excellent on all fronts. Sales and delivery, coffee that we give to every customer as they walk out the door after purchase. And brownies were an extra bonus. So coffee and brownies were an extra bonus. And they'd recommend our company. And they even, talking about community, they even bought additional coffee from the source based on the samples. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Whiff Roasters, local roaster.
Whiff Roasters.
up there in Lidditz. They're actually part of our introduction clip. The last clip is a show we did with Firsters. Check it out, LancasterConnects.com for all the past episodes. But thank you to Carol and Paul for your business, and thanks for the great testimonial here for Gardner's Mattress and More. We appreciate it.
Yep, we do. We're up to 567 reviews.
And we're also up to 500. We just hit a milestone of 500 YouTube subscribers for Lancaster Connects.
Fantastic.
Throw the confetti, Chris.
Fantastic. I don't know that he's ready for that. You just...
Really?
There it is.
Fingers on the...
It's there.
It's there. Button. It's always there.
It's there. All right.
Yep.
I shouldn't have doubted you, Chris. I apologize. I do apologize. Anyway, that was a great show. Great show with Troy Steffy from the Lancaster Stormers. If you can get out this summer, you're looking for something fun to do with the family, please do go to the stadium. We've known the owners for a long time. We've ebbed and flowed with partnerships with them over the years. They really do care about the team. They care about the community. I wanted to touch on this earlier, and I completely forgot. But, because of our partnership with them in the past, we made a very special moment happen with a young man who got to sing God Bless America out there on the pitcher's mound. Yeah. I pushed and pushed and pushed. They're like, no, we have no more room. You don't understand. We did all these additions for the anthem. I'm like, well, he wants to sing God Bless America. So, nope. Did anybody audition for the anthem? Or God Bless America? No. Well, then he gets to get in. Get him on the mound, and that's how I got him in.
Cool moment.
It was a very cool moment. Keith Weaver, and that was a Facebook memory. Saturday, I think it was. Yep. So they really do care about the community. So please show them that they are doing great in the community. Get out to a game and take in the ballpark for an evening, which is always fun. Grab a hot dog, grab a beer.
Can't beat it.
And have a nice night.
Can't beat it.
Yep. So we'll see you next week on Lancaster Connects.